when we talk about saving water today, are we really talking about scarcity, or we are talking about from the point of view of its mismanagement?
If you see the average annual rainfall received by the country,
Right.
it's more than 1100 millimeter
Right.
right now. So it's huge amount of water. So it's not about scarcity. Today, if you ask any child, from where are you getting water, they will say tap. They are
Right.
not aware about the whole system.
Right.
Britishers, when they came to India, you will be surprised to know they were surprised to see the hydraulic society. They were surprised to see how the communities were managing. They are losing their water bodies, they are losing their lakes, their ponds. Delhi had so many lakes,
Right.
more than 700 lakes actually and ponds. But today we have a few left. Like a bank, you have 100 rupees, you can withdraw only 100 rupees.
So why does access to clean water still feels like a growing crisis?
You cannot look at water only in silos. You have to understand that the management of water also depends on your management of your wastewater.
Right.
So where is the sewage coming from? It's coming from the households which are not connected to some treatment plant. If I am talking about Delhi, the major contributor to water pollution is the household sewage.
We have all grown up hearing save water. We have seen it in advertisement, TV advertisements, street pole ads, and various other places. But there's something very strange to it. The same water that flows from the mountains freely is actually being sold at a price of rupees 600 per litre. Yes, 600. So what is this exactly? What is this issue? Is it scarcity? Is it mismanagement? Or is it what? There are a number of questions around it. And in order to break this, we have someone really interesting who has been working on this issue for so long. Uh, Mrs. Sushmita Sen Gupta. Hello, ma'am. Thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Right. So, this one question, there are basically a number of questions that revolves in our head when we talk about save water, when we talk about scarcity, when we talk about its economy. So, when we talk about saving water today, are we really talking about scarcity, or we are talking about from the point of view of its mismanagement?
Okay, so to understand like whether it's water scarcity or water mismanagement, we have to understand like that India receives, if you see the average annual rainfall received by the country,
Right.
it's more than 1100 millimeter right now. Although we have some deserts and dry areas, but average annual rainfall is more than 1100 millimeter. So it's huge amount of water. So it's not about scarcity. So I'll give you specific examples. Say for Cherrapunji,
Right.
few years back it was the place receiving highest rainfall, right? So it receives more than 1100 millimeter of rainfall. It's in northeastern part of the country.
Right.
And if we compare that with Jaisalmer, receiving max 200 millimeter of average annual rainfall.
Right.
So these are two distinct areas, one in the desert and one in high rainfall area.
Right.
You will be surprised to know that Cherrapunji, there are few months where Cherrapunji reels under water stress in spite of receiving huge amount of rainfall. And if you go to the western part of the country, northwestern part, which is Jaisalmer or the third desert area, you will be surprised to see how people manage with that little water that they receive from the rain. So it's surely not about the scarcity. It's about how intelligently the communities manage their water.
Right.
If there is mismanagement today, if you ask any child, from where are you getting water, they will say tap. They are not aware about the whole system.
Right.
Britishers, when they came to India, you will be surprised to know they were surprised to see the hydraulic society. They were surprised to see how the communities were managing rainwater, that little amount of rainwater that they were receiving during the rainy season in the desert areas.
Right.
So we have this history of managing whatever water we are receiving. So right now we have forgotten our traditional wisdom, and we are actually facing these issues.
So, since you said, I mean, you mentioned that Cherrapunji receives 1100
Millimeter.
millimeters of water, right? So, uh, it's not just about the scarcity, it's more about the mismanagement.
Yeah.
So if we talk about mismanagement, then is it on an individual level, or it's a system based flaw or a fault?
No, it's, I should say it's both. Okay. So, one is the communities, while we are turning to taps, we are actually depending on the pipe water supplies,
Right.
more of pipe water supplies, forgetting the decentralized, beautiful systems we have. We are forgetting the rainwater harvesting systems, which we used to have. So, and, once, again, I will give you the example of the Britishers. So, we actually moved on to pipe water supply. We moved on to taps and started forgetting our traditional wisdom. Do you know, every part of the country, as per the ecology, they have different types of system of harvesting rain and managing the water.
Right.
There are iconic villages which still depend only on rainwater and not on pipe water supply. So it's both. Like, if the administration is only focusing on pipe water system, forgetting the decentralized system, it doesn't work. If the communities, they forget the traditional system, because ultimately the heat is faced by the communities, they face the burnt, right?
Right.
So they are forgetting the traditional system, only depending on the pipe water supply, so it doesn't work. So you depend on a source of water which you need to protect, which you need to recharge, and then supplementary, this can be acting as a supplementary source, and you can also have a pipe water and a mix of both.
Right. So we talk about water scarcity, save water. We also know there's a groundwater depletion in the north area, especially in Punjab. So what would you say about that?
See, I'm not saying that groundwater dependence is bad.
Right.
We need to depend on groundwater.
Right.
And if you see in India, more than 60% of the population is actually residing in the rural areas.
Right.
And we are agriculture based country. So we will need groundwater. So it's not about the huge amount of extraction we do. It is about a recharge plan. Okay. So it's not only the rural areas, the urban areas are also facing similar problems, because the industries are the water guzzlers. Okay. They,
Right.
they extract huge amount of water.
Right.
The urban areas are also, they are losing their water bodies, they are losing their lakes, their ponds. Delhi had so many lakes,
Right.
more than 700 lakes actually, and ponds. But today we have a few left. Why? Because of unplanned urbanization. So, both in rural and in urban areas, we are depending on groundwater. So, the thing is, like, not groundwater extraction, the mantra should be groundwater recharge, having a plan for a groundwater recharge. If
True.
groundwater is like a bank, you have 100 rupees, you can withdraw only 100 rupees. So you
Right.
make provision of recharging the groundwater.
True. Agreed. So as we know that water covers most of our planet, right? So why does access to clean water still feels like a growing crisis?
Okay. So if you are talking about the water, yeah, the major portion of the planet is underwater, or it's covered by water. But you should understand how much is potable water or sweet water that we can use. We have big oceans, we have seas, so that part is removed. So if you are talking about India, so if you're talking about rural areas, huge groundwater dependence. So if you are talking like, why is it still an issue? Although we have enough water, I'm telling you, we are receiving enough water, because you cannot look at water only in silos. You have to understand that the management of water also depends on your management of your wastewater.
Right.
There is a simple mathematical formula. If you are using 100 liters of water, you produce 80 liters of your wastewater. So, equally, if you have a management plan of water, you have to have a management plan for wastewater. If that is not happening, if that is failing, that will spoil your potable water.
Right. So when we talk about water pollution, What are the biggest unseen contributors today?
Unseen contributors, I don't agree on this word unseen. I have a different view, because it's about agreeing on the fact or not agreeing on the fact. But I have a different view on that. It's not unseen. Today, everyone is aware. Where is the pollution coming from?
Right,
It's coming from the industries. Okay,
right,
all the cities are not sewered. Okay, if you talk about big cities, if you talk about Delhi, if you talk about Bombay, if you talk about Pune, if you talk about, uh, if you even talk about Bhopal, okay? So these are the big cities who are taking water from their rivers, but in turn, we are returning the sewage, okay? So where is the sewage coming from? It's coming from the households which are not connected to some treatment plant. If it is not connected to treatment plant, we do not know how to manage the wastewater coming from the non-sewered areas. We
right.
need to know how to manage this non-sewered areas, and then we can have a safe water, say we can have a healthy river which can feed into your groundwater, which can actually recharge your lakes. Again, the groundwater can recharge your lakes and water bodies. It's a whole
A
complete cycle
system,
like
yeah,
this. Yeah.
it's a whole system. Um, so when we talk about water pollution, I want to know the difference or the amount. What is the water pollution, the amount of water that is being polluted from everyday human behavior versus the industrial system? What is the difference and how much it differs?
Okay. So it depends. Like if I'm talking about Delhi, the major contributor to water pollution is the household sewage.
Right.
Okay. And if you go, say, if you are talking about places like Hyderabad,
Right.
okay, where Musi River is there, okay. So if you move just outside Hyderabad, so there are industrial areas. So those rivers and rivulets which pass through those areas will be polluted by industries.
Right.
So there are different segments. We cannot just say like the issues, like issues on Yamuna pollution in Delhi is household sewage, but there may be some industrial areas which are polluting their groundwater or river water because they have industries there. So both are contributors. So both should be the wastewater coming from both of them should be equally tackled and equally managed.
Right. So when we talk about water pollution or when we talk about the challenges we have related to water, how does it differs from a developed country to a developing country?
Okay,
Yeah.
it's a good
How it
question actually.
varies.
So let me first tell you about a developing country, because if you are talking about global south,
Right.
like if you are talking about India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, or you are talking about different African countries. So the main point that we see is the management of your fecal sludge. So
Okay.
what is this fecal sludge? So fecal sludge is excreta actually.
Right.
So the main problem is mismanagement of excreta.
Okay.
Okay. So that is why when Swachh Bharat mission was launched in the country, we were talking about safe toilets. Okay.
True.
And if we today we are talking about reaching the sustainable development goal, especially the goal number 6, which talks about water, sanitation and hygiene, by 2030 we are saying not only water, we should save water, we are also talking about managing the wastewater, also managing your sanitation also. So it goes hand in hand. So if we are talking about safe water, safe drinking water, we need to manage our excreta also. Okay. Say in India, okay, what is happening? As I was telling you, the non-sewered areas. No, you have Sangam Vihar just bang opposite our office.
Right.
Okay, this is one of the largest unplanned settlement. There, what you see, two things. One is it's not receiving any pipe water supply,
Right.
so it's actually depending on the groundwater. Enormous extraction of groundwater is happening. So if that extraction is happening groundwater, no one is accounting the amount of wastewater. There is no official record of neither the groundwater that is extracted or the amount of wastewater that is extracted. Also, they have certain type of toilets which are connected to some tanks. Okay, but what is happening? These tanks, as you understand, they get up filled up. Okay, and they should be regularly emptied. For that, they call certain tankers. You will see a series of tankers standing
Right,
there.
right, right.
So they come, they are the vacuum, they use vacuum to actually empty those tanks.
Right.
Now, what happens is these tanks, when they are actually doing this, they are supposed to carry that to some treatment plant. But rather, what is happening is they are dumping that in the open drains which are connected to the river or the main river itself. So, in the whole cycle, you have polluted water bodies, you have polluted groundwater, you have polluted soil, and again affecting your drinking water. So, such things happen in different cities of, or even urban, peri-urban, rural, everywhere I am talking about. So, in Africa, talk about Nigeria, which has become the next hotspot after India actually became 100% open defecation free. So now Nigeria is a hotspot. Okay, so here also no management of excreta is taking place. That is a big challenge to protect. So they are unable to protect their drinking water. So people are forced to drink water from polluted water bodies or polluted groundwater.
Right. So this was about the developing countries, and the major contributor to the water pollution in developing countries is excreta, as you mentioned.
It
And,
can be industrial effluents also. It's
right.
both hand in hand. It just depends like which area you are talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
So what about the developed countries?
Okay, so if you are actually talking about developed countries, so two differences are there. One is, economically we are not as strong as the developed countries,
Right.
right? Number two, they can invest in centralized systems, high energy intensive systems, okay? But here the problem is not only money, but also the rate at which we are uh, moving towards unplanned urbanization. Okay,
Right. Right.
so every day the city is expanding. Okay, so how will you manage that? That is not the picture for the developed countries. The density is very low. If you go to Europe, any European city, or if you talk about the rural areas, so it's the density is very low.
Right.
Okay, but here, if you see, the people are like, they are, what should I say, they are hitting each other actually, right? So this is the picture. So we cannot have such centralized systems planned for them. So again, if you see any unplanned settlement, it's very difficult to make sewers or the pipe connection for the sewage for it, because every day it's expanding. How will you bridge that gap? Okay,
Right.
so this is a difference.
So I want to know how big this crisis has become for the countries in West, and for our country, for India as well, for uh, the generations to come. The water crisis.
Okay, the water crisis, if I take the example of Delhi, where we are sitting right now,
Right.
groundwater in this part of the city has reached more than 70 meters below the ground level. So it's already touching the rocks.
Right.
And if we are not taking care of the groundwater, so in the coming years, we don't know what to do. Okay. So this is one situation.
Right.
You understand the crisis. Another
Right.
is the city is expanding, as I was telling you.
Right.
Unplanned and maddening uh, urbanization is taking place. Okay, the rate is beyond imagination at which it is taking place. So what happens is, this not only increases the dependence on the groundwater, but the amount of wastewater that is generated, or if we have unsafe toilets or the excreta is not disposed in a proper way. So the whole pressure is on the drinking water source. If we are not thinking of using our treated wastewater, right now, I'll give you an example what is happening in Delhi at least. We have treated water coming from our sewage treatment plants. They treat the wastewater and they produce the some treated wastewater.
Right.
And right now, what is happening? It is mixed with your polluted drains. So only a very small portion of that treated water is used for green areas. It's used for industries, power plants, some gardening. In some parks, you will see in Lodhi Road and all that. Very small portion. And major part of it is going to the drains, okay, mixing with the drains. We should have a plan, solid plan. Every city should have a solid plan of using this treated water for non-potable uses, okay, so that we don't use our precious groundwater for non-potable purposes.
So, if we talk about the solution, since we discussed the problem, the scarcity, the crisis that's happening, and majorly the water pollution, uh, I want to know from your perspective, is awareness enough, or is awareness on an individual level enough, or we actually need uh, a structural change?
Okay, so if you asked me this question 10 years back, I would have said that no, people need awareness, okay,
Right,
but right now I cannot say that. People are aware enough. If you talk about Swachh Bharat Mission,
right,
with Swachh Bharat Mission, everybody was, families were discussing this in their drawing room.
right,
Okay.
right.
So everyone is aware, whether we talk about individuals, whether we talk about government. So it's more on, having a plan on the table and executing that plan. It's more of that. Okay. We ourselves, government is well aware of the roadblocks, they are well aware where the solution lies. Organizations like us, we run capacity building programs for the government officials. They know that, to find out a solution, we cannot only think of expensive centralized systems. Supplementary decentralized systems should be there where you can treat your sewage right on the spot, or you recharge your groundwater. These systems should be there in place. So they come back to us, they work with organizations like us. So awareness is not a problem. Everyone is aware of the all the roadblocks, but it's about having a proper plan and executing it.
So, as you said, there is no as such problem related to awareness. I mean, till now we all are aware that we are facing such issue, and in the coming years it will increase. I mean, it's not going to decrease. And I also want to add that in a country like India, we have an emotional. I mean, the water itself has a cultural and emotional importance and value. Why are we still facing this issue? Being aware, being knowing the value, why this problem still exists, and why are we not taking a collective effort to do something for it?
Okay, I don't have a direct answer to this question. As I said, everyone is aware of about the fact, and but small changes are required, like not wasting the water, judiciously using the water, and every, like we have certain colonies which
Right,
can go for such decentralized systems, not increasing the pressure on the drains. Then we have this system of giving incentives. We have very good systems, like in certain cities, if you have rainwater harvesting systems, then you give rebates on your house tax. So such systems
right.
are there. So such systems should be promoted, so that people go for groundwater recharge. uh, s- so that people see the benefits actually. But yeah, I do not have a complete answer to your question, because we all are aware, we all know where the issues lie. But execution of the plan and monitoring is very important.
Right. And if you could add some of two or three more scalable solution for this on an individual level, so what would it be?
If you're talking about scalable solutions, individual level, like don't pollute your rivers.
Right.
You cannot throw plastics. You cannot immerse your idols because it's made of plaster of Paris.
Right.
And also, if you are talking about at individual level, there are certain examples which we have also documented, which shows that people are using the water coming out of their bathtubs or washing areas and reusing it for gardening.
Right.
So such initiatives should be promoted,
Right.
and this is what I need to say.
So next time, if you think about how much water you save, it's really important to also look at the other factors like the system around water, how it actually works. So thank you so much, ma'am, for giving us very insightful inputs on this issue. Thanks.
My pleasure.